We got ourselves a distinguished group here today. That's great. All right. Give it about 10 more seconds and then we'll get started. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up here. Start off with some slides and then we'll go into some video. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the 5-man mechanic class for San Antonio. I'm Joe Wicker and I'll be giving the presentation. It's just me. So I will try to answer any questions as they pop up. But when I'm in my full screen mode here with PowerPoint, the questions don't pop in. So
I don't know how long this is going to last.
This is going to last about an hour.
About an hour.
Yeah, about an hour. Good question, though. Good question.
What do you want? Why were you bugging me?
Could you put yourself on mute, please?
Well, it was okay.
Okay, so we don't have, I don't think the vice president is on tonight, so this is the agenda I'll be following, and I'll put in some plays in between the kickoffs and the scrimmages after we talk about all the scrimmages.
Hey, Joe, if we could get everybody to mute because it really is distracting listening to background noises.
Yeah. If I could, one more time, ask everybody to go down to the lower left part of your panel, Zoom panel, and click mute. I would appreciate it. Okay. So anyways, that's the agenda we'll be following. Requisites, courage, no rules, and have an intimate knowledge of the mechanics. That's what we're going to help with tonight, is that intimate knowledge of mechanics. Communication, hustle, and tact. Okay. Need you guys to be consistent. So it's not just consistent between weekends, but it's, or game day, but it's consistent on the field. So if you call one kind of false start, you have to keep being consistent in that, calling that false start. If you're calling a certain kind of hold or horse collar tackle, you have to be consistent throughout the game, be fair. That's probably one of the most important things coaches are looking for, is consistency. You got to remain calm if things get out of control. A coach's job could ride on it. Players could, hey, I'm first string, second string. I was the leading running back and I'm no longer the leading running back. They've got that kind of pressure. They're going to be emotional. But you've got to remain calm. No matter what they say, don't be yelling, and don't snap at them if they're just asking a question. They ask a question in a calm manner, just answer in a calm manner. Familiarity with the rules and a full understanding of the mechanics are essential. Can't stress that enough. Hence, we're having this class to help stress those points. Familiarity with rules. You may not know all 100 and something pages of the rules, not including the applied rulings and the appendices, but you definitely have to know the mechanics and when to square your corner and how to get the right angle to be able to see that wedge formation on a kickoff, or if that center or snapper is being covered on a scrimmage kick. Football sense. What do we mean by football sense? You may not have ever played football, but you have to understand the basic premise of the game: advancing the ball, scoring, the definition of the definitions in chapter 2, what the goal line is, et cetera, et cetera. So you have a good idea of what the field is, what the ball is, how the players and the coaches interact. So that's what we talk about, football sense. And then just know that the two most important lines on the football field are those goal lines. Signals, okay, very important form of communicating on the field. So you save us a lot of time. You may not have radios. I think by now almost everybody in the chapter has radios. I think last year there was just 1 or 2 crews that did not have radios. So another definition of radios is O2O or official to official. But signals sometimes you don't have time to talk on the radio. So signals are a fast, quick, effective means of communicating to each other on the football field. Of course, when signals fail or someone's not paying attention to your signal, then it's perfectly acceptable to get on the radio and ask. And if you don't have a radio, then you might have to wait till timeout or quarter to go and talk to your fellow officials. Communication of the down and distance, big time important, especially if you're that head linesman talking to the chain guy behind you, the box man behind you. When I'm a head linesman, I involve him. He becomes my little head linesman assistant. So I tell him everything. We got third down, and I make him repeat to me third down. I ask him, are we on the 5-yard line? Or I tell him we're on the 5-yard line, and I make him reply, yes, we're on the 5-yard line. So that way, if a play comes my way and I get all excited and I forget where I'm at, he can come up to me and say, hey, we were at the 5-yard line. So oh yeah, that's right. So communicating not with fellow officials, but with that, that chain crew can also help. Communicating with the coaches, jumping all the way down to the bottom. Communication with the coaches is also essential. So most of the time they just want to know. I just want to know what happened. I just want to know if it was a holding. I just want to know if he was grasping, pulling, takedown. I mean, and once you tell them, they're pretty happy. I mean, they may not agree, but you're communicating with them in a calm, controlled manner, and they're happy to hear. They're content with what they've been told. Never be in a hurry. I always want to get it right. So on my crew, on a foul at the snap, we want to enforce the penalty in 15 seconds or less. If we got a single foul, deep pass, I want to get it done in 30 seconds or less. So I'm wanting to be quick, but if I have multiple fouls, this goes right out the window. So I want to get it right. I want to make sure that the penalty spot is enforced correctly. I want to make sure that we all have the same foul. For example, the line judge could have holding, and the umpire could have chop block. And there's 2 flags right there. And I'm thinking, well, they both got holding. So we want to make sure we communicate effectively between each other on getting it right. Okay. All right. Hustle. Some of us can't hustle, but this is what we ideally want to do. Some of us have health problems, and we can't go faster than we can go, which is okay. That's fine. But we want to be quick. We want to give that impression that we are moving in a expeditious manner. We don't want to be dragging. We don't want to be lackadaisical. There's what I mean by the second bullet is go with the flow. Is sometimes the game, the teams will come up in a no huddle, and sometimes they'll take their time and they'll try and burn time off that clock. So go with the flow. So if the team is in a hurry up, we don't want to be in a rush and spot the ball in the wrong area. We don't want to put it if it's supposed to be in the center of the field, we don't want to end up putting it on one of the hashes. If it was a complete pass, for example, we want to get it right, but we don't want to disrupt the game as much as possible. Tact, but not submission. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Be tactful in your conversation with coaches, and you don't want to be submissive and give that impression that he's the boss and he has complete authority. You always have the last word as an official. So if the coach is biting you in the face, and he's really trying to dig under your thick skin, just remember in the back of your head that if I want to, and if he really pushes the line, I can always eject him. He can't eject you. He may not ask you back. He may scratch you, but for that game, he's not going to be able to throw you out. You, on the other hand, can throw him out. So remember, you always have the last word. So be tactful. Use your discretion. Use your wisdom. Use your football sense and control the situation. Okay. Go all the way down here to the last one. Don't be a ball watcher. So I've talked a little bit about some of the other ones, but ball watching, use your peripheral vision. And that's going to be prolific in some of the film that we see. So using peripheral vision and not being a ball watcher. As a referee, as the ball carrier runs to your left, you're on the right hash mark. He's a right-handed quarterback. He runs to the left. You got your keys that you're watching. You should be in your peripheral vision. You should be watching the ball carrier. Your focus should be on the trail or lead blocker, depending on the situation. So you can see those chop blocks and stuff. Once the ball carrier becomes threatened, now you release your focus from those ball carriers or your keys, if that's who you're watching, to the ball carrier so that you can watch for fumble, face mask, out of bounds, et cetera, et cetera. And that applies to any position that you're in on the field. So that's the difference between peripheral and ball watching. And we'll talk about that here in some of the plays. Expectations, set them high. Set them high. You got crew study. You got use of huddle. You might have a mentor. I have a D1 mentor, David Alvarez. I have an NFL referee, Brad Rogers, who are my mentors. I talk to them a lot, and almost to the point where they're like, "Damn, it's Joe Wicker again." But anyways, there's multiple ways that you can raise your expectations. And the last one. Get out on that football field and just get dirty. Get out there and make your mistakes and then learn from them. Okay, we'll get right into the mechanics. There's only 5 of us on the field and there's 22 of them. So that should be a no-brainer by now. You should have that figured out. So we're going to miss things, especially with a 5-man. So the mechanics are there to give you the best chance not to miss. We already talked about don't be a ball watcher and don't guess. If you don't see the foul, if you don't see where the ball went out of bounds, don't guess. If you're wrong, that will look very bad on you. So talk to fellow officials and try to get it right. If you're not ball watching and you're using your focus on your keys and you get that illegal wedge, that's perfect. Okay, and through this brief, you'll see a little star symbol in front of this sentence, and what that means is that this is in the 7-man mechanics manual, and it is not in the 5-man mechanics manual. So almost all this stuff is coming out of the 5-man mechanics manual from TASO. However, our 5-man mechanics TASO manual had very few updates. So the philosophy, talking to the leadership, is that we will copy some of the 7-man mechanics and put them into our 5-man mechanics until the 5-man mechanics manual can get updated from TASO. And that's a work in progress. So just bear with me on that. So some of you might say, hey, that's not in the set. I can give you a perfect example is the field goal mechanics for the field judge and the back judge, not in our 5-man mechanics manual. So we're going to, we'll be using the ones from 7-man mechanics. Okay, dropped all the way down to the last one. As you all read that slide, I'm going to talk about the last comment. Be a great dead ball official. And what that means is after the play is over, especially on the sidelines, turn around, watch that play out of bounds, and wait for those players to come back in bounds before you turn back around and face the field. If he's still on the field, reverse mechanics, quarterback, defending teams just like a nice shot at that golden boy. And so the referee, even though your focus is to get back and help cover that goal line, I mean, you still got to try and keep your eye on that quarterback so he doesn't get hit. And once that play is over, that reverse mechanics, so he didn't get back there, the interception occurred. The ball carrier did not make the touchdown, but and someone comes up and takes a cheap shot. It doesn't have to be the quarterback, but the ball is dead. There's a cheap shot, but we got it because we're still officiating the dead ball. That's what that means. Okay, just talk a little bit about crew communications. Close goal line plays, got to be communicating. I've got goal line, you got goal line. That's what we're talking about. Clock coverage. The play is over. There's less than a minute on the clock. And the back judge takes a look up because that's part of his routine. His experience has taught him to take a look at that game clock, and it's still running, and it's supposed to be stopped. So even though he may be throwing the foul, if he's throwing the foul, it's always good to have the line judge and the back judge take a look up at that clock, and even the referee. Sometimes the referee is probably the best guy to do it, depending on if he's facing the scoreboard or not. And just take a look up there after that play is over to make sure that the clock is indeed stopped. Okay, we'll go into some kicks. Okay, so this is taken right out of the 5-Man Mechanics Manual. You can see that I've drawn some little arrows to show who's responsible for which players. And then over here, the U has responsible, even though the B is handing him the ball here in this diagram, the U is responsible for these 5 people, including the kicker. After the kick, he comes running in onto the field. That's what these lines depict. This line depicts the head linesman focusing on these 3 football players closest to him from the sideline. The B runs over. The B has these 3 players on the sideline. The R and the L are back. On the for the line judge and the R, when the ball is kicked and is caught, both of you are responsible for winding. If the ball carrier is in the other zone, you take the lead blocker. So what I'm saying here is if the kicker kicks the ball to the line judge side, the R will take the lead blocker on this side from this side of the field, looking in this area for the lead blocker, wherever he may be. So the ball carrier is the L. He has the lead blocker. The ball is kicked over here to the R. The R has the ball. The L has the lead blockers. All people have to watch for fair catch signal. So it's not just the L and the R. Everybody has to be cognizant of if there is a fair catch signal given. Okay, onside kick. The R moves to the center and the L moves up with the H on the 50-yard line. All else stays the same. All be aware of R has to be ready for the deep kick, and all have to watch for the fair catch signal again. So just because the L moved up doesn't alleviate him responsibility for seeing a possible fair catch signal. Okay, one other thing on what I did not put in here was there's an alternate formation that the R can decide, and in one of the plays you'll actually see it being used. The R can have the L move up to the 20, and so that's that can be used at the discretion of the R. That is legal. I can get you to or mute your mic, lower left portion of the Zoom program. I would appreciate it. Okay. Oh, still haven't muted. Thank you. Okay, so punts. B, no less than 5 yards behind the deepest receiver and at a 45-degree angle. If the ball is less than the 50-yard line, be on the goal line. So if the ball is being punted from the 45 or the 40, be on the goal line, okay? And once again, you see the little asterisk. That means it's not in the 5-man mechanics manual, but it is in the 7-man mechanics manual. L and H, hold your position until the ball crosses the neutral zone. So don't be taken off like it would if it's a scrimmage play. In 5-man mechanics, we do have the U come back with the R, and he has all the responsibilities that he would normally have. You want to put yourself in a position where you can see the snapper. You want to put yourself in a position where you can see that the snapper is not covered. If you are using radios, this is a very viable alternative. If you can still not see that if the snapper is covered, you can have the B come on the radio and just say covered. And that should tell you that from his angle, the snapper is covered on a scrimmage kick. If you're not using radios, well, maybe come up with some kind of signal or just have the U move over just a little closer to the kicker so he can get a better view. But other than that, all responsibilities for the U are the same. It says here outside the tight end, but that's recommended. You can be on the tackle, inside the tackle box in order to see that snapper is not covered. Okay, field goal and extra try. B and L come up together. We'll talk about these arrows here in just a minute. Come up together. Take a look at each other. Yes, 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 or no. And take one step forward and raise your arms together. Practice it. I have my crews. Last year, I made my guys practice until they were sick of it. This year on my 7-man crew, I'm making my guys do it again. But they're good. I mean, they look really good when they do it. So it should be a routine. Look at each other. Yes, yes, yes. And then take one step forward. Both of them go up together. Have them practice. Dropping down, if it's a miss, we're going to do the 7. Here's that little asterisk again. If it's a miss to your side for B, I'm sorry. If it's a miss to your side, only that person on that side will give the signal. The other person will just stand there. So, for example, if the ball is missed by the B side, so the ball is kicked, and if you see my cursor, it goes just outside on the B side. They look at each other. The B says no, no, no. They take one step forward together, and the B will give the incomplete signal, and that's it. The L just stands there. It looks good. Buffed. All right. What I'm seeing here in the second third sentence is only the B will give this signal if the ball strikes the crossbar. So if the ball is kicked, it hits the crossbar and bounces back. Only the B, once again, no, 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 step forward. Only the B gives a signal, not the L. Okay, so my little lines here. This is for these are for a missed or a fire, or where there's not going to, they lined up to kick a field goal or the extra point, but there's something wrong that goes wrong with the snap, or there's a heavy blitz or whatever. Then the B can get and cover the goal line, and the L needs to get to his sideline and cover his sideline. So that's what we're talking about there. Okay, so now we're getting into the fake field goal fire. So in this situation, the line of snap is outside the 20, but inside the 45. Stay on the end line for the B. H will observe his action, and L is going to get to the pylon. So that's what we were talking about here under the fire rules. If the line of snap is inside the 20, once again, the B stay on the end line. The H and the L will be responsible for the goal line. You're going to have to hustle, and the U will observe the lineman, and the referee will do what the referee does, make sure that the kicker is safe. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some film while I'm getting set up for the film. Are there any questions? All right. When I tested this thing, it worked great. So, so let's hope that that luck continues. All right. Here we got 5-man formation. We got a kick. Watch the L down here, comes in and squares his corner. Okay, so that looks really good. So we got coming in, squaring the corner, no rounding the corner. So hopefully everybody knows what I mean by that, but I'm gonna back this up just a little bit. So watch, this is what I mean by squaring. So he comes in, he plants his foot, and there it is. So he squared that corner. Rounding the corner would have meant that from about the 28-yard line, he comes out onto the field and takes a shortcut to get to the spot and ends up on the 31, or I believe that's the 31 where he spots it. So he squares the corner, looks really good, very professional. All right, you see the umpire on the field, and this is just another view, so we'll go to the next play. Okay, on this play, got a little fake going on there. And there's the L on the 20. So that alternate formation. So the wide view gives a little better view of it. We got our, I'm going to pause here. We got our B, we got our U, we got our H, and off the film, but you'll see here in just a second, perfectly acceptable if the R wants to do it. And there you go. There's the R, he's on his goal line, and there's the L covering on the 20. So very, I mean, it's just up to the R if that's what he wants to do. And once again, I say on short kicks, the L needs to be on the goal line. So what I'm saying here is if we back this baby up, and you notice this kick is on the 45. So we're not kicking. There was a penalty on this previous play. There was a penalty on the previous play, and so we moved the ball to Team B's 45. So now we're short. So what I'm saying on this on a short, so this becomes a short kick. It would have been better for the, because now they're only kicking 45 yards to the goal line. So it would have been better to have the L back here on the goal line with the R. So even though it's an acceptable mechanic, and I told you that just earlier, on a short kick, you might want to move them back. It's recommended to move them back and put both of you on the goal line. So that probably
put him on the field.
Probably should have done that. And there we go.
I would put him on the 35.
That is an option. That is an option.
What's an option?
Okay, on this one, putting him on the 35. You can, I mean, if the penalty enforcement went back to Team A 25, you might want to put him on the B 35. Okay, so ball goes. This is a free kick out of bounds. So when we have a free kick out of bounds, what are we supposed to do? Now I know. I heard everybody say it. Flag down. Okay, watch what this guy does. No flag. Okay, so here's a wide view of it. Ball goes out of bounds. He comes running up. He's killing the clock, but no flag down. So we got to have a flag down on any free kick out of bounds. All right, wide view here. See, you can see a little better? Okay, right here we need the R to stay on the line. So this is a deep kick. Anything can happen. We need you to stay on the goal line until the ball carrier starts to run upfield. He just caught the ball and he's already off the goal line. He's already given up the goal line. So stay on your goal line, L and R, until that goal line is no longer threatened. And then you can break off and follow upfield. And there he goes, and there goes the R, which is okay. Doesn't get caught up in the play, which is good. Hangs back a little bit, continues to officiate. Everything is good after that. Okay. Onside kick. I'm going to back this up a little bit. This is a narrow view. I'm going to go to the wide view. Okay, so we got an onside kick. We have our H, we have our U, we have our B. The L moved up, but he moved up to the 45. That's not the important line on an onside kick. This restraining line, the 50. So we need the L here on the 50 on onside kicks. Okay, so he's not doing any good back here. If the ball were to get kicked to this way, he's out of position. So we need you up on the 50. So let's go ahead and watch the play. And it turns out it was not in question. He got lucky. All right, I think that was it. That was the last one. So we'll break off here. And we'll continue on. Are there any questions on free kicks in formations? Okay. I'm going to go back to sorry about this. There's my first faux pas. I just when I turned off my PowerPoint slides, I accidentally closed it. So let me go back to my PowerPoint slides. I apologize. Sorry about this, guys. I didn't mean to click out of my brief there. All right, so we're back in business. Okay, so we're going to move on to the line of the snap and the keys. Okay, pre-snap position and routine. Okay, R, 12 to 14 yards deep. 15 yards is okay. I've seen some people 15 yards back. Always be on the quarterback's throwing arm side. You won't find this in the 5-man mechanics manual, but you can vary your.
Can't see your screen.
Say again?
We can't see your screen.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you for telling me. Okay, this was actually amended in this manual. It was one of the few changes that was carried over. You can vary your position 5 to, I know this says 6, but it's 5 to 10 yards deep. Most of the umpires in the chapter will tell you stay 10 yards deep. The L and the H, the far side of the side, you guys will not switch back and forth. In 5-man mechanics, the L stays on the L and the H stays with the chains. MIM stands for man in motion. You're responsible for the man in motion on your side. And if you're the H, talk to that box man. Continually talking. B, 20 to 25 yards deep, and always know your clock status. Watch the man in motion as well. Running plays. We got to help. R has to watch with the tackle on your side, but you have your key is the responsibility to tackle on the far side, but help with the tackle on your side after the snap. Work with the H and L on sideline coverage, so that means you have to hustle back and forth. So in 8-man mechanics, if you have a right-handed quarterback, you would never go past the left hash mark. In 7-man mechanics, you have to do a little bit of running to both sides of the field, and you have to help cover that sideline. In 5-man, it's all you. There is nobody to help out. There is no deep wings to help out those 2 short wings. So you have to do it. You have to become that guy, and the back judge has to assist. So between the umpire in plays behind the line of scrimmage, the umpire, that wing, whichever side they're going to, and the referee have to box in or triangulate in the coverage, and the opposite official gives the backside coverage. So, for example, we have a play to the head linesman's side, the referee's left, and the umpire's right side. As that play coverage goes over and he gets tackled or pushed out of bounds, and he goes outside the sideline, he's into the player's box area, the head linesman's going to turn around and watch the action behind him. The referee's going to come up all the way from the far side of the field, come up and assist with that action. The back judge will stay back where he's at. The referee will stay in the center and cover all the action behind the head linesman. The back judge will be assisting the umpire doing that from a different angle. And then the L, who's all the way on the other side of the football field, he will be covering everybody behind the umpire. Those would be your people after the dead man play. So that's what we talk about.
Hello.
That's why it's important for the referee to get up there. Did someone have a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead. No question? Okay. Okay, so going to the next bullet, the point of attack, POA, behind the ball, that's what the responsible, the U is responsible for helping to catch. His responsibility between the tackles. So he's got, you can assist with the tackles, the referee has the tackles, but he has your keys, your primary keys are the guards and the center and all that action in there. But if the tackle and the guard are doing a chop block, you can absolutely assist with that call. We already talked about staying your distance back, L and H. Okay, if a play is sweeping to your side, the ball carrier is between the hashes and the 9-yard line, which is the top of the numbers, if you have numbers on your field. When he starts coming into that area, that's your zone. You need to step into the play. You need to step back. So show that here in a film coming up, and that is perfectly acceptable. You want to get out of it. If he cuts up and you hold your ground on the neutral zone, then he could come and take you out at the knees. So turn into the play, sidestep, keep all the field in action, keep watching your keys, using your periphery to keep on the ball carrier, and slide a couple of yards down as needed, as necessary. And then as he passes you, then you go ahead and trail him and try to stay 5 to 7 yards back. If it's a long break and he goes 80 yards downfield, and this guy's got the state record for the 440, do your best. I mean, if you're 20 yards behind him, just don't be walking. He's gone. I'm going to let the back judge have him. And you're walking. That's what we don't want to see. Just do your best to keep up with him. Mark your forward progress with your lead foot by slightly extending the leg. I preach raise the lead hand. So you got your lead foot, lead hand goes up. If you're the head linesman, your left hand lead foot goes up and goes out. And then the line judge should be putting his right hand and right foot out. And you guys mirror each other, and it looks great. It looks awesome. Observers and coaches and fans just say, man, look at these guys. They've got their act together. They're in sync. So that's, but it is in the book, forward foot marked for the progress. You want to you want to bracket the runner so between you and the wing. So if he goes deep, you want to keep that coverage in front of you and bracket so that you've got the head linesman and line judge on one side of the field. You're the triangle. You're the tip of the triangle. And if you want to call it a diamond, you can use the U as the other backside of that diamond to keep those players, all those players in everybody's field of view. Okay, so man in motion, we'll talk about this. This deserves a little bit of conversation. We got a man in motion. The B he starts off on the L side, L gets him. So if he stops here and then they snap the ball, the B has him. Earlier I said the L can be watching him as well. It's just the L actually has this key if there's a wide receiver in this particular formation, but you can but the L and the B can be watching the man in motion. If the man in motion goes all the way to the other side, the L will release him and the H will pick him up, and the B will continue to watch the man in motion if he goes all the way to the other side, and then the ball is snapped and he goes down. So you have multiple eyes. It can get confusing, but you're going to have to rely on your experience to determine which one needs to have your main focus. Pretty much the same thing. Just this is the one where he doesn't go to the far side of the field. He comes down and cuts and goes on. The B still has him. Pass plays. Okay, here we go. I know that in the book it says that the U is to take a step forward. Do not take that step forward. Big debate about this last year. The philosophy was decided. The defense knows where you were. They don't know where you're going. So stay where you're at. Do not step forward. R, don't forget to say that the ball is away. Once that ball is released by the quarterback, ball away, right? It is in the 7-man mechanics manual, but it is not in the 5-man mechanics manual. Okay, so what this is saying for the H and the L, if the play is on your side, go ahead, drift down the field a little bit. That way, if he catches a pass right in here and he takes off, you're already ready to go. So if he catches it down here and you faded down a little bit, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. If he catches it here, stay where you're at. But if he catches it down here, go ahead and fade down 5 to 7 yards so that if he makes a break, you're that much closer. Same thing for the L. So if they're going to throw it within, if there's a little slant play, this guy comes off on a slant right in here, or he comes into a little slant right in here, just go ahead and stay where you're at because you're already behind. But if he goes down and about here and he does a hook, then go ahead and fade down 5, 7 yards. You got to get the feel. And if he catches it and he breaks, then you're in that better of a position to keep your 5 to 7 yard distance behind the ball carrier. Let's see. Okay, we're going to talk about formations here coming up. Okay, so outside receiver is always the line judge or the H. The inside receiver is always the B. Now, there are some exceptions to this, and we'll go over those in some upcoming slides. Okay, and those upcoming slides are here. So here you go. So if you have a line formation, it's L, B, and B. So the L has the first one, the B has the second two. If it's a trips in a diamond formation, then the outside guy goes to the L, which is consistent with what we were talking about earlier, and the B has the two inside guys. Now you'll notice that that there's 3 over here and there's 2 over here. The B, you're just going to have, as 45 or 25 yards back, you're just going to have to judge depending on their pass patterns and watch the quarterback if he throws to this guy or if he throws to one of these 2 guys. You're just going to have to be flexible and wait for the play to develop and then shift your attention accordingly. And of course, the H has the outside guy. Don't leave your keys too quickly. Wait to see the play develop, and you can help do that by using your periphery to see where the quarterback is at. If the quarterback throws right, obviously you're going to focus your attention on the left side. If the quarterback's going to throw the other way, then you need to focus on your right side. Diamond formation, you don't see it a whole lot, but if you do, there it is. So let you all read that real quick. Once again, these slides, and will be posted, and it's also in the TASO mechanics manual. All right, goal line plays. B on the inline, U, your 5 between your 5 and 10 yards back. H and L, you guys at the snap, you guys want to get to the goal line. So if it's snapped here, like on the 5-yard line, your first move, your first step, you don't have to run all the way to the goal line, but your first step should be towards the goal line, just in case he manages to blow through, you can get to the goal line. Now, I've drawn these arrows in because we want you back. So don't run and follow the sideline. Run 6 yards back, or I'm sorry, 6 feet back, and then cover your goal line. So you're running at an angle, but if this guy's coming out of the backfield and he's going to dive for that pylon, you don't want to be with your feet up against that pylon when he dives. He's going to take you out. You'll be more worried about knee preservation than you will about whether he crossed the goal line legally or not. If you're not sure, don't signal the score. Get some help. You never signal the score. Always you can provide an assist with a little thumbs up, an open hand, whatever the case may be as you're on your crew, but never give a touchdown signal. And once again, for those wings, back up six yards off that sideline, get away from that pylon so you can see the field. Okay, so when do we cover the goal line? So from the line of snap, 25 to the 5, cover the goal line as normal. 5-yard line and in, move back. What I'm saying is move back away from the sideline and get to that goal line. Once the play has resulted, quickly pinch in and sell the call. If you have to come in pointing to the ground that he was down and he did not get in, then do it. Anything to help those emotional coaches get the point that either he made it or he didn't make it. Pinch quickly. If you don't see it, don't signal. Reverse goal line. Going to talk a little bit about reverse goal line, and we're going to get into some. And we're getting close to getting close to an hour, so I'm going to try to keep it to an hour if at all possible. If you're on the 4-yard line or more, the R got the 10-yard line and under to the end line. All right, so if you go back, that R's got the end line. For you, punts only, be on the end line. So if they're on the 4-yard line, they're going to punt. They've got 96 yards to go, and you'll be on the end line. The rest of the punt mechanics are in effect. Head linesman, normal mechanics, but watch that goal line. So it's take a step backwards in this case. Previously going in, I was telling you take a step forward at the snap, see the play. If he runs your way, you got to run back, but or get out of the way or get to the goal line. If on this, you want to take a step backwards to the goal line, because if the ball is fumbled or loose in the end zone, We need someone to see, is it a safety or did he actually get tackled on the 2-inch line? B, normal mechanics. Know whose impetus put the ball in the end zone. So loose ball, impetus still belongs to the offense. Okay, so we're for on or inside the own 3-yard line. This is where I was saying get back to the guard line. On the 3-yard line or in, H and L, immediately at the snap, get wide and move back. The 3-yard line to the 10-yard line, the line judge holds the line of scrimmage and the H will read the play and react to the goal line if necessary. So 3-yard to 10-yard line, the L will hold the line of scrimmage. 3 yards and in, both of them get back. Any questions on this? Oh, okay. Now, if we're deep and there's a reverse mechanic, the R has got to beat feet as fast as he can. If he's not the fastest guy, the end that does not relieve the H and the L, they still got to get back too. But the R has got a lot of responsibility to get back there and basically become a back judge. Okay, turnovers, H and L retreat and get that forward progress from goal line to goal line. Pretty self-explanatory. You pick a safe area and observe the action. Try to stay out of the guy's way. You can't see. I've seen some umpires. Last year, my umpire was unfortunately one of them. He was trying to get out of the way, but he got ran. Oh, Mike, Mike, please. Mute yourself, please. There's some action going on. Trying to mute this guy. So there's some action going on in his house, and I'm trying to find him.
Domestic, really.
All right. Hopefully,
at the bottom, you can mute all participants.
Huh?
Yeah. Trying to. There we go. I just did it. Okay, everybody's muted now. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So you pick a safe place on the field, and then after the action has passed you by, make your way down and cover observing the action behind the ball carrier, and just try not to get run over after that big wave has passed you by. B, observe blocks, follow up, dead ball, action behind the play. So you and the R together covering the remainder of the players. As I mentioned earlier, remain with your quarterback, R, but you got to watch that goal line. So don't give up. As you're running down, don't give up your quarterback, especially if your quarterback is involved in the play. He's going to be the guy who's going to make the tackle. And don't be 30 yards downfield while he's doing that. Try to do your best to try and keep up with him if at all possible. All are reminded to watch those blindside blocks. So, okay, just a little bit on penalty enforcement. Thought I'd muted everybody, but apparently I missed somebody. Try that again. Okay. All right. Okay. So for penalty enforcement, I mentioned earlier what I do 15 seconds, foul at the snap, 30 seconds if it's a single flag. And that's great. So, but adding a little bit more to that, don't, hold your chains, try not, because there's only 5 of you on the football field. They may not see that there's a flag. They might see it's a long play downfield, and they might pick up and start running. And you caught it because you're observant and you're watching your quarterback, and in your periphery, you saw everything. You see him taking off. Stop him if you can. If you see them moving, go ahead and stop them, and don't let them give up the line of snap or change the down and distance. Secure the ball when ready, mark the yardage with the H together. Okay, so no different than 7-man mechanics in that area. You'll see that most officials give the fingers, so not the finger, but the fingers, so 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards. They'll hold it up, so just a visual communication, and the H acknowledge, and together they walk down and mark off that penalty together. Make sure you've got the correct spot on that foul before you guys start to walk off. So R, make sure that the U knows where the spot of the foul is once you figure it out from your fellow officials. That's one of the things that I go through really quick with my U is don't move until I tell you where you're going from. H, I already mentioned it. Walk the penalty with the U, and then once you get in position, then you can move the box and chains or chain marker as appropriate. L, report to the coach. This is assuming you haven't thrown the flag. Report to the coach what's going on. Hold the enforcement spot until the penalty is marked off by the H and the U. Once you see that they're in position and they've agreed, yeah, this is where we're supposed to be, then you're the third check. You walk down and you mark off the penalty. Once you get in place, the U will watch you move up. And once he sees that all three of you are in place, ready to go, the B should have finished his report to the press box. He should look right at the U, get an acknowledgement, and you don't even have to wait for the chains. The chains will get there and get that game going as appropriate. B, during all of this, if you didn't throw the flag, go ahead and cover that flag so that you don't have any players kicking it, trying to fudge it. And just, watch the dead ball area while the U and the H and the L are marking off their position and the R is reporting. Don't forget to repeat the signal if the foul was on a free kick. So you have to give the signal when it's the free kick. Okay. On the last one, I'll try to get the spot to the closest hash mark. Okay, so when you throw your flag and you're not really sure if it's on the 23 or if it's on the 22, go with what's appropriate and don't put it right in the middle don't put it on the 22.5 yard line. Just go with what is appropriate. Give your preliminary to the R. Got to give that preliminary. If it's block in the back, kick catch interference, whatever it is, let that R know that gets his processes going. So he knows that there's a foul. He doesn't know anything else. He can't do everything he needs to do. And if you give him that preliminary, even though you need to give him some follow-on or amplifying information, he can start the process in his mind, even though he has to come talk to you about it. He can say, okay, I've got a hole. Now I need to figure out the rest of the steps. So preliminary signals are essential, and you need to give those. All right, so if there are no questions, we're going to jump into some scrimmage plays, and we'll wrap this thing up. So while I'm getting there, any questions?
Hey, Joe, I have one question. I don't know if you're going to talk about it or not, but how about, since we're extending sidelines down to 15 and 10, just kind of give some background information about that if you've got coaches and players down in that area near the goal line.
Okay, yeah, good point. Okay, so let me put the pause button on this. Okay, so yeah, and you can see all the plays. We're not going to go over all those. Yeah, what Ken's saying is that NCAA said 15 yards to 15 yard line, not the 25 to 25 for this year only. The R needs to talk to both coaches in the pregame and find out which one they want to use, the 15 or the 10. It has to be on both. If they can't agree, it defaults to the 15. So, and then you just tell them you guys can go to the 15 yard line this year. So that means when they do go down that, if they do utilize the whole field, keep them back behind the chains. So Maxwell talked about that yesterday. Keep them back and don't let them get in your business. I will tell you the two coaches that I've talked to, three coaches I've talked to, they were not aware that they could go to the 10. They were not aware of this rule. So at the beginning of the season, I don't think their past training will have effect, but maybe towards the end of the season and things will get a little heated, they might be trying to take advantage of that 10 or 15 yard line getting down there. So just keep doing what you do and keep them back behind the chains.
Hey Joe. Joe, I have a follow-up on that. So is it the team box area that's extended to the 10 or the 15 and the coach's box area, or just the team box area? Because if it's just the team box area, they're going to have to be behind the limit line anyway.
That's correct. So what we're seeing is that it did not, I did not read it myself, but I think it says the team box.
It does, because I sent that in to Tim Yarbrough and Maxwell, and that was my primary question. It doesn't say that they're extending the coach's box. It only says in the UIL update that they're extending the team box. So I would presume that means it's only that area where the players normally are, not the coach's team box, not the coach's box all the way down to the 10.
Right, and that
That would
matches.
be a problem. Then the coaches would potentially be in red zone chain area where we need that extra room anyway.
That's right. So it all begins to blend. So if they stay in the players box when they go down that way, everything works. It all works out.
Agreed.
Okay. So there we go. Okay. So once again, not going to go over, I got a lot of plays here. Not going to go over all of them. I'm just picked a few. We'll take about 5-10 minutes and then we'll open it up for questions and end this block of instruction. All right. So I'm going to watch this first one here. We'll go to the wide area or the wide. Here we go.
You got to share, Joe.
Oh, sorry. That's the second time I did that. Okay, we'll back it up. Okay, so what I'm showing here is we're looking at the play, and they're in a scrimmage kick formation. So let me back her up. Notice you got your B and your L. There's a T right here. R is in good position to see his holder who's moving and the kicker. So this is a scrimmage kick formation using good spot, and our H is where he belongs. So it's a good spot. Now watch what happens. Turns into a run play after all, pass. And notice how the L is hustling to get to position. Really good. So in this particular play, he was not able to get all the way out here where we ideally want him, but he keeps his eyes on the catch, keeps his eyes on the player. He continues to move to position, gets in position, and then takes his time and gets in the call. So beautiful. What I would like to see is the B move a little bit more over. This is supposed to be where the hash line is at. I'd like to see him run over to this area right in here and support the play. Okay, so he should know by now, using his periphery, that the pass is going to be to his right. Instead of staying on the far side of the field, he needs to move over and support. Keeping his eye in case there's any other hanky-panky, but being on the far side of the field is not being able to triangulate the action right in here. But the L did a really good job of getting over there and taking his time and calling. All right, so we'll see that one more time. We got ourselves a scrimmage kick formation. Going to go for that extra point. Everybody's in place. We're talking, doing our counts. Here we go.
Hey, Joe, how was that a scrimmage kick formation with no holder in position?
Oh, you're right. He's not. It was not. If he was 10 yards back, that would be a scrimmage kick formation. But they're going for the extra point, so he's not in a scrimmage kick formation because he'd have to be 10 yards back. If he was a little bit more behind, then that would be a scrimmage kick formation.
But even in that case, do you expect him to drop kick that for the extra point? I would say that that's not a scrimmage kick formation, even if he's 10 yards, because it's not obvious a kick would be made.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, are we going all the way back to the beginning of the play?
Yeah, we did.
All right.
So they're, anyways, so Brad brings up a good point. Don't lose the fact that they're ready for a field goal, and he moves over and he's got some good hustle.
So would the referees signal for a scrimmage kick formation be utilized on a try there, like on a punt, prior to the snap, or lack of?
Yes, you would. The open hand signal on the chest saying that he's not in a legal kick formation. He's not to get the protection.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to jump down here to reverse goal line. Go to the wide view. All right, pause it. Okay, so it looks like they're on the 3-yard line. So now we've got the reverse mechanics that we talked about earlier. So the initial action should be moving to cover this goal line. And I can't, the other wing is over here. You can't see him, but he would also be moving since they're on the 3-yard going in, move to that goal line and cover it. Good hustle by the B, doing his best. Notice that he stays inside the hash marks, catches the foul in his peripheral, and continues to officiate. So watch that again. We want the initial step of the wings to be towards the goal line, and then follow the play as normal. And there he's going as fast as he can go. B's going pretty good, staying inside the hash marks, catches his foul, continues to officiate all the way to the goal line, gives his signal. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna jump down here to the U mechanic. We're going to go to the widescreen. All right, so hard to see in this one. We're going to back it up. A couple of things I want to address with the U. He lets the ball turn him. So watch his head as the pass is thrown. The quarterback's going to throw the pass right down the middle. Watch the U. Ball watching a little bit. And then he notices, what's this? So now we're going to go to the end zone view. You'll see it. There's 71 right here. He's on the line, tackle. We want you let that ball turn you. Don't ball watch it. Let that ball pass you by, and you should be trailing behind. So as the ball passes you, that's when you should complete your turn. Continue to watch your keys, and and let that ball turn you and continue to officiate, help triangulate. So he catches the snap, number 71. Go back, play. All right, so they're on the 28-yard line, and so if the ball goes over the neutral zone, these linemen have to stay. There's a tight end, but if the linemen have to stay behind the neutral zone or on the neutral zone, and watch what 71 does. A little bit more than that, huh? Good observation. Even though he continues to officiate, gets his flag down for ineligible downfield. All right, good. All right, one more. We'll look at some goal line mechanic here. Hit the pause button, back it up, and go to the wide view. Okay, so now we're on the 5-yard line. So when we're on the 5-yard line, you do not step back towards the goal. Only at the 3 would we want you to step back towards the goal. So hold your line, regular ball mechanics, but be prepared if the ball is in the end zone or back in this area, be prepared to come back and cover your goal line. So let me clear these marks. Okay, so he's obviously got forward progress stopped. But let's say forward progress stop was not stopped. We would want this guy to be back and ruling on the goal line. Ours got his in line, so if I can, let me clear these lines. You can't see him, but he's off, but he's covering the in line, which is exactly where we want him. Okay, so one of the other things he can be, back this up a little bit. One of the other things that we would like to see in this particular play, and we talked about it earlier, is if you get your forward progress and he's being driven back, so there he goes back, that was good. Kill it, come in and sell that call, because people could be wondering, do we have a safety or is there forward progress? So he walks up and he's calm and control, which is okay, that's good, but come in and sell the call and let everybody know that we've got forward progress and not a safety. All right. Okay. I'll go ahead and do it. We're 15 minutes over time. So are there any questions? No, gentlemen? Okay, this video was recorded, so it'll be published here in the near future. Thank you all for attending, and you all have a safe and very fun and exciting season.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Y'all have a good one.
Be safe, guys. Y'all be safe.
Take care.